Y'all. Happy Tuesday. I hope it's a happy Tuesday at least. Um, I'm Asha. Oh, do y'all want to see my face? Let's do a little bit of face. Because, I have a pretty decent face, so maybe you'd like to look at it. Boop, 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 boop. Hello, y'all. I'm Asha. I'm the community organizer for Spark Reproductive Justice Now. I'm on my phone today. I realized I left my computer charger at the office, so you're gonna get this social media angle. Hey y'all, hey, in my savage onesie because all the baddies know this is the best way to stay comfortable. So, I would like to. Ooh, does my camera disappear when I try and switch screens? But I want to do some introductions for everybody right now. And I guess we've got 15 people. So you can either choose to introduce yourself in the chat, or you can introduce yourself, unmute yourself. And what I want you to do is your name, your pronouns, and then the icebreaker question is going to be, what are you grateful for? I'm feeling like a lot of positivity right now, and I'm just kind of grateful for a lot of things. So, hey y'all, my name is Asha. My pronouns are she, hers. I am located here in Atlanta, and I am grateful for really dope friends. I have some really meaningful relationships, and I'm really grateful for that. Um, so you can either unmute yourself, or you can put your introduction in the chat, your name, your pronouns, and what are you grateful for?
Hey everybody, my name is 20, pronoun she, they, and I'm grateful for, I just moved, so I guess I'm grateful to have a place to stay, and I'm grateful for community and friends. Yeah.
I can go. Hi, my name's Anjali. My pronouns are she, her, and something that I'm grateful for. I would say dark chocolate. Always thinking about dark chocolate. It's just so good. Yeah, nice to meet everybody.
I can go. Hi, everyone. Agbo, she, her pronouns. I'm the Policy and Advocacy Director with Spark. Right now, I'm grateful for the fact that next week Saturn is getting out of Aquarius and moving into Pisces. So hopefully it will leave me alone. Feeling for those who will now be experiencing their Saturn returns, but I love that for me.
I'll go. Hi, I'm Janice. My pronouns are she, her. I'm lamenting the Pisces because all I want to do is submerge myself. I'm actually a fire sign, but I'm feeling it this year. I'm grateful for young people younger than I am who are carrying on this important work because I'm feeling very old these days.
I'll go next. Hi, everyone. I'm Marlo. My pronouns are she, her, and hers. I am grateful for life and a healthy brain.
I'm loving everybody's positivity. I love this. I love this. I love this. For the new folks that have come in, we're just introducing ourselves, and you can choose to introduce yourself in person. I mean, like, come off mute. Or you can introduce yourself in the chat, and you're going to say your name, your pronouns, and something that you're grateful for.
I can go. Hi, I'm Elias. I use he, him pronouns. I am the policy fellow here at Spark, and I am super grateful for sunshine. It was nice and sunny today, and I loved that. So,
Hi, my name is Rihanna. My pronouns are she, her, and I'm super grateful for just like intuition and being able to not allow others people energy to affect mine.
Thank you, everyone, for indulging. There's some dope introductions in the chat. Sorry, I muted myself. Do. Yes. Okay. Cool beans. So next, y'all, I would like for y'all, if you are not already, to wham bam in the chat. Please sign up for our newsletter. That way, that's one of the ways that you can stay up to date with what's going on with programming, as well as it's currently a legislative session, and we put some updates in the newsletter so that you know what's going on. So yes, please subscribe. And I need the link, Agbo, for Legislate This. We have our annual Legislate This coming up tomorrow, March 1st, from what time?
9 to 2.
There we go. And then we have a virtual training, which is from 9 to 12:45. And then we have in-person lobbying going on from 1 to 2. And this is a really dope opportunity for both experienced organizers and new organizers and activists to advocate on pressing issues, anti-trans legislation, crisis pregnancy centers, etc., that affect our communities across identities and exercise concrete organizing and advocacy. So were you able to drop that link for me, Agbo, in the chat?
Oh yeah, I put the registration link in the chat.
Sweet. And, folks love food. Uber Eats vouchers will be provided. So, if you're a little hungry and you want to learn, come through. Hungry for knowledge and hungry for food for thought. Ooh, I like that. Okie dokie. Hey, y'all. So now we're going to get into letter writing, how to, and I'm going to let Agbo take it away.
Awesome. Thank you, Asha. Also, can you give me screen sharing abilities? Sorry, I didn't ask previously. But thank you all for joining. So this is actually going to be kind of a, let's see, a precursor to legislate this tomorrow. So this is something that I'm going to be reviewing for folks who join us tomorrow. So y'all get sort of like this sneak peek. 1 second. All right, I'm really just going to share my screen so you can see this document, which is going to provide some tips for writing a letter to your legislator. So we know in advocacy and even in lobbying, it doesn't necessarily always have to look like going to the Capitol and talking to your legislator, because the Capitol can be like very, very just violent for our folks and also just inaccessible. It doesn't have to even look like calling your legislator. It doesn't have to look like, you know, having one-on-one meetings, lobbying on the ropes, things like that. You have different ways of communicating with your legislator when you want them to do something. One of those ways is letter writing. So when I say letter writing, this could include, you know, handwritten letters, you know, snail mail, or emails. I will say that I feel like legislators are more excited and maybe more likely to respond to snail mail, but emails are perfectly fine as well. So I am going to go ahead and share my screen because I just wanted to take some time to give you sort of like the general structure of like what a letter to your legislator may look like, some fun tips, and then in that same document, I've provided some examples. I'll also at the end share this link for your reference, and it's also in our SOI 2023 participant folder. So those of you who may have joined us for SOI have access to that. If you join us for Legislate This tomorrow, you'll have access to that, but I'll also provide a link to that folder at the end of this as well. So let me see if I can go ahead and share my screen. Okay, I hope you can see my screen now. Oh goodness, let me get this thing out of the way. Cool. So writing a letter to your legislator. Why would you want to write a letter to your legislator? So particularly during legislative session, you're going to want to ask your particular legislator to do something for you. Basically, a legislator's one job is to pass legislation. And in doing that, you may want them to support a particular bill or voice or not support a particular bill, vote against a particular bill. And this is in during various steps of the legislative process. If you remember from SOI, a bill goes through a lot of steps into becoming law in Georgia. And that really just starts from a bill being introduced in the first place. So that actually is, before a bill is introduced, that actually is a time where you can contact your legislator. Say there's an issue in your district, in your community, what have you, that you're having. And you have thought of this policy that could be put into a place that would make this not a problem. So let me see, I'm gonna make up an example. I don't know, say schools are starting too early, you feel like they need to start later in the state of Georgia. You write a bill to be like, school will start at 10 a.m. each day. And this is a completely wild example, so bear with me. So you contact your particular legislator. How do you figure out who your legislator is? So you want to actually go, if you're not familiar with who your legislator may be, if you go to openstates.org, you're able to put in your address and it will tell you who your state legislator is. I think it also may tell you who your federal legislator is, just depending on what you want to have done. So you have this idea for a bill, you message your legislator, and that's just one way to really start sort of like that lobbying process, getting a legislator to actually introduce a bill kind of on your or your organization's behalf. So that's just like one way. But say a legislator has introduced a bill. I'm going to use the example from last year, the quote unquote Save Girls Sports Act. So this is going to be a harmful bill. So we see that you've noticed that a harmful transphobic bill has been dropped in the legislature. You want it to be defeated. You don't want any movement on this bill whatsoever. But unfortunately, if it is assigned to a committee, it's assigned to a committee. So maybe you want to first ask the committee chair not to hear the bill. If that doesn't work, okay, so maybe you ask folks who are in the committee. It'd be great if they were the legislator that is in your district, or if they're just random legislators in the committee, you can still reach out to them and be like, hey, please don't vote yes on this bill. Please don't move this bill along. So that's another way you can sort of interject in those proceedings. I'll also say, this is completely an aside, but another way you can do like lobbying or advocacy is if a particular bill is impactful to you, you can sign up to give testimony at committee hearings. So this is an opportunity to really voice and have it in public record how a particular bill is going to impact you, your community, all of that. And also, sorry, just an aside, if you have any questions, please feel free to interrupt me or put them in the chat and I'll try to get to them as I go along. So it's in committee, say, unfortunately, it passes out of committee. You can still email or write a letter to your legislator to ask them not to vote on this bill on the House or Senate floor. And yeah, that's basically, I think all 3 times you can maybe message your legislator about a specific bill. Of course, that process repeats when it shifts over to the other chamber, and you can again message your legislator. And then if a bill passes, you can ask the governor to sign or not sign. Please don't hesitate to contact Kemp if there is a bill that really shouldn't be a law at all. There are several this session that we're hoping, won't make it through the legislature, but if they do, we can still call on Kemp not to sign this bill into law or to veto a particular bill. So I'll start with just the general structure of what a letter to your legislator can look like. I'm going to emphasize that you make this your own. I know a lot of organizations, including Spark in the past, have sent out just email templates for folks to use to sort of mass email their elected officials, which is completely fine. I do know that sometimes those form letters can kind of get blacked out by legislators. They're just oh, I'm receiving all of the same letter, blah, 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 whatever. So you want to make a letter that is true to you, as personable as possible. And I'll get into that when I talk a bit more about tips. So at the start of the letter, you want to introduce yourself. Who are you? It's important that you include your district number to really show that, hi, I am your constituent. So if you are messaging your representative in the Georgia State Legislature, you'll be like, hi, my name is Agbo. I live in Smyrna, Georgia, in district, whatever my district is. I am your constituent. This is something that they're really going to, it'll compel them to really pay attention and listen, because this is someone who can vote for them in future elections. You want to talk about what you want done. So you can say, hey, I see that, there's been this bill, SB, whatever, that's been introduced, the quote, Save Girls in Sports Act. I am writing you to oppose this bill. And then really the meat of the letter is describing why the bill may be harmful. For positive bills, you may describe why it's helpful. Who opposes or supports it in the district. So what I mean by that is if there are businesses, specific community members or community leaders, moms, healthcare providers, people like that. If you want to highlight that these are the folks who oppose the same bill, or, you know, if you're for it, support the bill, you really want to highlight that to be like, hey, there are other people on my side. I'm not just emailing you because I am angry about this. I actually have folks backing me up with this. And then you again want to explain what you want done, but sort of like in slightly different words. So you want to say, hey, please make this possible by voting for or against HB/SB, you know, 1, 2, 3, 4, something like that in committee. And again, later on the House floor, really just depending on where the bill is in the process, that's where the ask will come in. To like know where the bill is in the process, definitely encourage folks, if you have access to a bill tracker app, to use that. You may be signed on to different newsletters like Sparks, or like Feminist Women's Health Center or other newsletters, and they're pretty good at like sharing like where a bill is in the process and actually what they want folks to do. I will 20. This is actually at the bottom of this document as well. Okay, and then you want to end with, well, you want to include in the letter your name. You may want to include your address just to be like, no, hey, listen, I literally live in your district. I remember lobbying actually in DC to my federal like congressperson, and they're like, where do you live? And I was like, oh, I live in Stockbridge. And Stockbridge at the time, Stockbridge covers like, well, various legislators represent Stockbridge. So they were like, no, but where do you live specifically? Because they really wanted it to be clear that like I was their constituent. So I was like, oh, I'm just off Rock Quarry or something like that. And they're like, oh, I know the area. I'm your legislator. What do you need? You know, things like that. So yeah, you may want to include your address or something identifiable as far as like where you live, maybe your telephone number if you want to invite them to contact you again. But also just leave the door open for them to contact you with any other questions, or whoever you want to direct them to for any questions to be answered. You never want to lie in these letters or anything like that. Don't like provide information that you're not sure is true. Just be open to answer any like follow-up questions. And this is like similar to like when we have legislator meetings, when we leave, any final questions that they do and you don't know the answer, I will follow up with you. Again, it's a really great way to build these relationships with legislators. So some tips: make your position and what you want the legislator to do clear. So literally it's I want you to vote yes, I want you to vote no, I want you to veto this bill, I want you to sign this bill into law. Just be very, very clear as far as like what you want them to do. Write in your own voice, include your own thoughts. How will the legislation affect you and others like you? Legislators love personal stories as much as they love like quantifiable data and facts. Just tell your story. Why are you so concerned about this bill that you are reaching out to your legislator? That can be really, really impactful. Again, you don't have to be an expert. You can use your personal experience. Try to personalize the letter as much as possible. So it's not just a general, hey, like ex legislator, my name is so-and-so, I am writing so you support this or don't support this bill. Like try to make it personable. Be polite. You don't want to necessarily like threaten the legislator or be mean, nasty, anything like that. I know it can be hard based on like who you're reaching out to. But again, that old adage, more flies with honey than with vinegar. Write briefly on one subject at a time and refer to bills by name and number. So yeah, they're like legislators are faced with a lot of bills. They're more likely to remember the name of the bill than the number, but it's still helpful to have listed out both. You never want to send an email about more than one bill or send a letter about more than one bill. You may want to have those in like different emails. That way the email can be like more concise, and also it doesn't get as like jumbled or like confusing for the legislators, especially if you're asking them to do opposite things for each bill. Maybe you want them to vote no for a bill, for a particular bill, but vote yes for another bill. Just have those in separate emails. Again, offer to answer their questions or provide more information. And then later on, if they do vote as you asked, you may want to send a thank you note. Again, that's really helpful in building relationships, but also it's just like a nice thing to do. Legislators like being recognized for doing the right thing. And sending a thank you note is really just like a nice gesture for like listening to your concerns. And I guess more cynically, we have legislators who just don't care. So when they do care, it's like, you know, a miracle, thank you, please do this again. If we happen to get any response from the legislator, can we have a convo with them about the bill we want them to support? Absolutely, absolutely. So I definitely encourage folks to invite legislators to have a longer conversation, you know, just asking them, if you would like to, please let me know if you're interested in speaking more. I would love to set up a meeting with you. Or if that's really just like your end goal, you can even put in that initial letter. I would love to speak to you more about this issue. Can I set up a time to meet with you? And then generally they may like connect you with like in person, or if they have like some kind of schedule, or they'll connect you with that. That was a good question. No problem. All right, so I also included here a template for emails to legislators. So again, please like personalize the letters, make them your own. Don't encourage folks to just like do like literally what's listed here, but this really is just like a helpful template for your reference. So dear Senator so-and-so, my name is so-and-so, I live in your district. Again, you may enter your district number, maybe have like more information about like where you live. If we have like quite a few bills that have to do with just like education in schools. If you do go to like a school in that district, be like, I go to X high school, or I used to actually go to X high school, which is in your district, things like that. And then I am contacting you in opposition or support to, then you put the bill number and then the bill name if there is one. Then you want to talk about why the bill is harmful or helpful. This template is just like assuming that this is a negative bill. So you want to talk about why the bill is harmful. Highlight any misconceptions they may have about the issue and how effective or helpful the policy is. So giving legislators like the benefit of the doubt, maybe they're supporting particular legislation because they don't really understand the issue and they think that it actually is going to help. So highlighting those misconceptions, saying, hey, you may think that this, but actually this does not help at all. You may think that crisis pregnancy centers are awesome, but actually they lie to folks. And we don't want to support organizations that lie to people who are just trying to receive care. Things like that. So just making it clear what the policy is actually going to do. And then talk about like why you personally are opposed to the bill. Again, it's a thing of telling your own story. This could be about you, maybe someone close to you, family members, friends, things like that. Just talking about how it impacts you, your loved ones, your community, things like that. Again, that's something that legislators respond to. Reiterate why it's important that they do or do not support the bill. So really that conclusion is like, once again, asking you not to support Bill 1234 or SB 1234, because, and basically it's really just like repeating and summarizing what you already talked about. And trust me, I know conclusions are like the hardest part in like a paper, at least for me they were. So definitely understand if this part's a little like, okay, bye. That is completely fine. Really, if you did a good job with the rest of the email, explaining exactly what the bill does and why you're opposed, and things like that, then the conclusion can really be a repeating of the ask. Once again, I ask you to vote no on this bill. Happy to speak with you more on this issue. Reach me at blah, blah, blah. You can thank them for the work that they already do. If you're not feeling that generous, you don't have to do that. And then of course, sign off. Any questions with that? Awesome, awesome. So finally, I'm just going to highlight an example email here. This was actually the email template we sent out from last year over Senate Bill 266, the quote Save Girls Sports Act. So that's what I was referring to before. And this was a bill that would basically make it so that trans girls can't play on the sports teams aligned with their gender identity. So again, it really is just like an easy template, your name, what district you live in. I am contacting you in opposition to Senate Bill 266, the Save Girls Sports Act. So you're listing out the bill number and then the bill name. A senator may not remember what SB 266 is, but if they hear Save Girls Sports Act, particularly a very controversial bill like this, that will probably jog their memory. This bill will do the opposite of its stated intentions and harm trans girls who only wish to play on sports teams with their peers. The intentions of this bill are premised on baseless claims that allowing trans students to play on the teams that align with their gender identity denies cisgender girls and women access to athletic opportunities. There's been no evidence to indicate that this is true in the state of Georgia. So again, it's challenging sort of like those misconceptions of how this bill could be helpful. And I'll say you can, well, anyone can really just like go on and on about like why the bill is transphobic, why it's important that we affirm trans folks and all of that. I'll say that you don't want to go too much outside of the scope of what the bill covers. Again, it will make the letter a bit too long and your legislator probably isn't going to read all of that. So you want to be pretty concise as far as why the bill itself is harmful. And then maybe when you have a meeting with the legislator, you can talk a little bit more about maybe the reproductive justice framework, queer liberatory framework, how like transphobia shows up in like our different communities, things like that. Maybe you want to have with them about that later. Again, you want to talk about why you're personally opposed to the bill. Again, telling a personal story or speak to how it impacts you or your loved ones. You can even say, I am a base member, whatever, of an organization that centers and uplifts young trans folks. And we don't want to have, this is very like not elegant, so bear with me, but we don't want you to pass this bill that's going to make it hard for trans girls to survive in school. Things like that. And then finally, conclusion, trans students who wish to play on teams that align with their gender identity are able to feel safer and more secure in their schools. And we should recognize and honor the fact that participation in school sports has benefits no matter a child's sex or gender identity. Again, I ask that you please vote no on this bill that would do more harm than help Georgia students. Happy to speak with you more on the issue. You can reach me at, X number, email, whatever. And again, this would also be the space where you're like, I want or requesting to speak to them more. I would love to speak to you more about this issue. Can I set up a time to meet with you? Again, they should direct you to like their admin person or their scheduler. If not, follow up. If you don't receive any response for your legislator, don't be shy to follow up and be like, hey, I sent this to you a week ago. Still wanted to hear your thoughts on the issue and would love to speak to you more about it. Do you have any time coming up for us to speak? Don't be afraid to follow up. Of course, you don't want to like send a million emails every day, But following up once or twice, that is completely fine. And then, of course, in the great state of Georgia, if you are able and the Capitol is accessible to you, straight up going to the Capitol and lobbying on the ropes and calling them out of session to talk to you is also an option. Again, thank you for your work you're doing to protect Georgia students. Again, implying positive intent, and then you sign off. So yeah, that's basically the gist of it. Again, please make it your own. It doesn't have to be a complete like copy of what we have here. And of course, Senate Bill 266 doesn't really exist anymore. But there are other very harmful bills that we do want to talk to our legislators about, that we do want them to vote against. And this is just, this is just another way for you to communicate to your legislator what your needs are. Final thing I'll say, maybe the final thing, look to organizations like Spark and Feminist Women's Health Center and Sister Love, Sister Song for talking points. Those are really like great. It's really great information to have when drafting these letters to cover sort of like all of like the bullet points of things that we want to make clear to legislators. A lot of these talking points are created with keeping in mind what is most likely to sway legislators. So yeah, if you're seeing organizations talking about a particular bill on their Instagram or their newsletters, stuff like that, reach out for talking points, or ask, hey, are there any things I need to like highlight to my legislator about this bill? Because that can be really, really helpful in drafting like the main part of the letter. And I am going to stop sharing my screen, and I'll also put a link to this document in the chat. Any questions? All righty. Well, I will once again plug Legislate This. If you can, please join us tomorrow from 9 to 2 for Legislate This. It's really an opportunity to sort of like practice advocating for what you want in your community. And yeah, would love to see you there. At the very least, no, I'm not gonna say that. If you do want like the full resource folder that we have for folks, and you were unable to attend SOI and you're unable to attend Legislate This, just let me know and I can send you that folder as well. But yeah, let me share that link in the chat to the email document. All right, I think that's it for me, Asha.
I hear y'all, I swear. Unmuting yourself, it should be a very simple task, but 3 COVID years later, I think we all understand that when we need to unmute ourselves, the unmute button doesn't work. But thank you, Agbo. That was a great how-to presentation. I super appreciate that, and we all super appreciate that. Next, I want to let y'all know, before we let the dogs out, that tomorrow we're going to open up applications for a community organizer position and a communications associate. Ooh, oh yeah. So if you want to join our team, keep a lookout for that newsletter, for our social media. That'll keep you in the loop and let you know how you can apply, what we're looking for. And like, don't you want some of this energy? I know you want some of this energy, like, blah, blah. I just threw it at you through the screen. So I super look forward to seeing what these applications look like. And that's all I've got. So if you have any, possibly 20, hold on. Do. Copy link, paste link. Bam, there's the Uber Eats voucher for the night. Voila, voila. But that's it. We're all done. Do y'all have any comments, questions, or concerns? Some statements? Oh, nope, that's it. No, it's not it. It's not it. I just, Asha keeps procrastinating a little bit, but I do have this proposal done. We're going to be doing a theater production this summer for our fire camp. And so we're looking for folks to submit their version of a monologue from the Vagina Monologues. And we're calling this production Down South. And the actors for the monologues are going to be our fire campers. But Vagina Monologues was a really groundbreaking theater production. But, it could definitely get a little sprucing up. So we want to do a version of it where it's Black, queer, and Southern. Ooh. So keep a lookout for our call for writers to come out so that y'all can submit. Let me see. If any of y'all are writers, I'm going to drop the Vagina Monologues PDF in the chat so that y'all can look at it and, see which monologue super calls to you, that you feel like you can spruce up a bit, put your own spin on it, interpret it differently. So, bam, bam, there we go. So I'm super excited, y'all, for the rest of this year. Thank y'all for coming out. I hope you soaked up a whole lot of energy and love and gratitude. And I hope your food is super yummy. If you ever need anything, let me know. You can always email me at asha@sparkrj.org, ASHA@sparkrj.org. Adios, y'all. Toodaloo.